Hello, my name is Steve Bowler, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at system management. In particular, with system management, we're going to be taking a look into Telnet and how to set up Telnet access via your VTY lines on your router. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be configuring router 2 for Telnet access, so we're going to be able to Telnet from router 1 into router 2. We're going to take a couple of looks at some different types of authentication via Telnet. So the first one, we're going to be taking a look at how to authenticate via Telnet with no password. We're also going to be taking a look at how to set up a single password on the VTY lines via Telnetting. And then we're also going to be taking a look at a more advanced way to set up Telnet, where you have your users authenticate via your router's local database. And we're also going to take a look at, lastly, how to secure your passwords in your local router, so that people walking by are looking at your running configurations of your router won't be able to see the plain text view of your passwords, your user login passwords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get router 1 and 2 set up here with the basic configuration. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back, and then we'll go through setting up Telnet on router 2. Okay, so now I have the baseline configuration set up in router 1 and 2. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into router 2, set up some Telnet commands, and we're going to do some show commands to verify that our configuration is successful. And you might be wondering, if you're new to Telnet, you might be wondering, well, what is Telnet and why would I use it? What Telnet allows you to do is remotely access or get into devices without actually being counseled into it. So say we're counseled into router 1 and router 2 is in a different location altogether. Well, what we can do is, if we have connectivity to router 2, we can set up Telnet access on router 2 so that we can Telnet from router 1 into router 2 without actually having to go to the location to where router 2 is at and counsel into it from there. So it provides us remote administration into routers and switches, and it can be very useful in that means. And the way that we're going to configure this on router 2 is we actually go under the, if we go to router 2 and we just do a show run and we scroll to the very bottom here, what we're going to see in our running configuration is that we have these VTY lines here that we're going to set up. And this is going to allow us to set up Telnet access into our device here, in this case router 2. So what happens if we just try to Telnet into router 2 without anything being set up? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that. First of all, the network between router 1 and 2 is the 192.168.12.0/24 network, and these routers are connected via Fast Ethernet 00 to each other. So let's go ahead and try to ping from router 1 to router 2 first to make sure we have end-to-end reachability. And it's a good thing we were pinging first, because you can see here we do not have reachability. Looks like router 1 is fine. It's got the IP on it. Layer 1 and 2 are up. Let's go to router 2. And as you can see here, router 2 is not configured. So let's go ahead and configure the Fast Ethernet interface on router 2. So on our interface, Fast Ethernet 00, we're going to go ahead and give us the IP address of 192.168.12.2/24. and we will go ahead and no shut the interface there. And then now let's go ahead and go back to router 1. We will go ahead and do a ping to router 2. And as you can see here, we have connectivity. So let's go ahead and let's start this off here with a broken Telnet connection. Actually, no Telnet connection is a broken Telnet connection. So let's go ahead and show you this and just build this so that we can see what's going on here. So on router 1, if I just try to Telnet, so again, try to remotely gain access to router 2, we type in the Telnet command and then do 192.168.12.2. So this is the IP address of router 2 that we're going to try to Telnet from, or Telnet into router 2 from. And as you can see here, we get the error. Actually, it says trying open, and it says password required but not set. So this is the default behavior if we try to Telnet into a machine, or into a router, in this case router 2, where Telnet access has not been set up on. So I'm going to walk you through 3 different types of authentication, Telnet authentication. And the first one, and the easiest one to configure,